What's up, guys? Shade Tree Surgeon and Triumph Chick here. We're not rolling with a big pack today. It's just me and my girlfriend, which I like to do sometimes. You know, I love rolling out with the squad, but sometimes it just needs to be you and your lady. And traditionally, I've taken this time to do stuff that's maybe a little more personal. And it's about time. I haven't done a Shade Tree Origins in some time, so I think I'm going to do one of them today. This is actually going to be a response vlog to Lori Jennifer. She put out a vlog on smoking that I'll link down below, and I was gonna make a response in the comments, but smoking was such a huge part of my life, and quitting smoking was such a huge part of my life, I decided, you know what, I'm actually gonna make a whole vlog about it instead. It's really too much for just a comment. Like that shit there. Born scum. It's fucking tough. So anyway, Lori Jennifer, y'all should go subscribe to her. She's really cool. One of the original motovloggers, and just does a really great job. And actually, her and Jessica have the same motorcycle, which I always thought was pretty cool. Not the Speedmaster, but Jessica's dirt bike, the KLX 250. That's what she rides around. Yeah, head over to her channel, man. She took a year off, but she's back now. She's making motovlogs again, and she really does a great job. And like I said, she's one of the originals. You know, one of the very first people to strap a freaking GoPro to her helmet and start doing this thing, which is pretty cool, man. You ought to know where you came from, huh? Yeah, so just a little backstory on me and my relationship with cigarettes. Now, those of you who watched the previous Shade Tree Origins will remember that I was actually raised by my grandparents, and they're both dead now. And smoking killed them both. Neither one of them died from lung cancer, though. And, you know, if you die from lung cancer, any kind of cancer and any kind of death can be sad. But, I mean, I would prefer lung cancer over the way they died. They both died from c.o.p.d, which is, I forget what that stands for. It's c.o.p.d and emphysema. And basically what that is it's like the worst upper respiratory infection you've ever had in your goddamn life, except it never fucking goes away. Just, you can barely fucking breathe. You know, getting up out of bed, you're like hacking up fucking green phlegm, and your feels like your throat's like the size of a freaking pinhole. You know, it's a fucking awful way to die. It's an awful way to live. And they both lived like that for years. Years they lived with c.o.p.d and emphysema, not being able to do anything, never being able to breathe, until, you know, it eventually killed them, because you get chronic pneumonia when you have it, and eventually it killed them both. Both at different times, obviously, but I watched them both die from it, and it was a pretty fucking horrendous death. My grandmother, I actually watched her take her last breath. It was in her, she died at home, and I was sitting at her bed, and we sat there and watched her die. So you may look at me and wonder, well, why the fuck, out of everybody, did you start smoking? See, I guess the difference between me and a lot of other people, and it's not a good difference, is that a lot of people learn from the mistakes of their parents or their grandparents or whoever raised them. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I had a hard time learning anything, you know. Some people might look at that and go, man, I never touched cigarettes because I watched it kill someone. Whereas me, I'm a dirty, nasty piece of shit, fuck the world punk rocker. And I'm going like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna start smoking cigarettes, because fuck everything and fuck the world, and I'm gonna smoke them until they put me in my motherfucking grave. And that's exactly the attitude I had when I started smoking. This was back when I was riding 100 miles an hour everywhere on my fucking motorcycle with no fucking helmet, you know, getting drunk every fucking day. Like, I just didn't fucking care. Starting fights for no goddamn reason. And, you know, people look back and they go like, well, smoking is bad for you and you shouldn't smoke. And you think you're gonna tell me that when I was a kid? You think you think I gave a fuck about my health or about what was bad for me? Nah, man, I didn't give a shit. And that's the big thing, and that's why these anti-smoking campaigns will never work, you know. They may work on some kids, but for every kid that's going to listen to an authority figure, there's going to be a kid like me who's going to do the exact fucking opposite, just on principle. You know, I was the kind of kid who'd cut off his nose to spite his face. That's just the way I was. I'm not bragging about it. I'm not saying it was good. It definitely put me through some hard fucking times, that's for goddamn sure. So I smoked, and I always told myself, I was like, nah, I won't get addicted, not me. I can stop anytime I fucking want. I didn't give a shit. But everybody says that. And then, before you know it, you are fucking addicted. And I was. And for a long time, I didn't fucking care. People would say, aren't you worried cigarettes are gonna kill you? I'd say, ah, shit. Something's gonna fucking kill you. Cigarettes, just like all things, I did to excess. I've never been one much for self-control. You know, it's taken me a lot of years in my life to learn how to rein myself in every once in a while. And it was mostly because I fucking enjoyed smoking. That's what people who have never smoked will never understand that, I don't think. I loved smoking. I mean, loved it. I freaking loved every cigarette. Every cigarette I smoked tastes better than the fucking last one. Winston's were my cigarettes, and I fucking loved them. Just such a nice, nutty flavor. Really good smoke. And goddamn did I smoke a lot of them. It got to the point, I mean, I chain smoked like crazy, one after another. I'd light a cigarette off my old fucking cigarette butt because I'd smoke like 3 in a row. And I'd sit down and, you know, for some of you guys, even you guys who are smokers, you can't imagine smoking 2 to 3 packs a day because you don't smoke at your job. But, you know, I'm a fucking bartender in a bar that allows smoking. So I smoked all fucking day. I'd sit there, I'd work a 10-hour shift, and I'd smoke 2 packs of fucking cigarettes during. And then shit, don't even get me started on a night when I'm out drinking. If I got some beers in me, that's a 3-pack night for sure. It was amazing how many cigarettes that I put into my fucking body. So anyway, I eventually decided I needed to quit, and it had a lot to do with starting to date Jessica because she didn't smoke. And you know, we've been dating for about a year, and so she had the conversation. And I also just decided I don't want to die of COPD. That was really what it was. Is I know something's gonna kill me. I know I'm gonna die. I just don't want to die like that. And you know, that's something that the bravado in my 21-year-old self said he didn't fucking care about. But you know, I got older and I just sat down, I looked at it and I said, holy shit, I don't want to go out like that. And I especially don't want Jessica to have to see me go out like that. You know, nobody wants to go down like that. You know, I may still get lung cancer. You know, that still may be the way I die, but it ain't gonna be fucking emphysema, that's for sure. So when I started actually thinking about quitting, because I'd never really thought about it before, not before Jessica. I mean, maybe for a little bit, but never for any length of time. Man, I don't know how many times it's been told to me and I just scoffed at it like it was bullshit. But the words, you will never quit smoking cigarettes until you truly want to. Looking back now at my journey of quitting, truer words have never been fucking spoken. You will never quit smoking. Never in a million fucking years until you want to quit smoking. Quitting seemed like an absolutely impossible task. Just thinking about it stressed me out. I mean, just thinking about never smoking again made me sad and anxious and depressed. I mean, not even putting one down. Just thinking about it. I still don't know how I do it. I still don't know how I did it. The decision of the day when I stopped was absolutely arbitrary, because I've never been one of those guys. I've never been one of those guys that plans something out. Most of the decisions I've made in my life are spur of the moment. Kind of, I don't know, man. I just shoot from the hip. So one day, I just looked down and I wasn't thinking about it, and I picked my last cigarette out of the pack and I just said, this is gonna be the last cigarette I ever fucking smoke. I don't know why. It just was that day. I wasn't feeling particularly bad. I wasn't particularly happy or sad. I just looked down and said, that's it. That's the last fucking one. And I smoked that cigarette, and I haven't smoked a cigarette in 2 fucking years.